Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel today. I hope you guys are all having an amazing day. First, I just want to say I have to film this video on my phone right now because my camera is currently charging and unfortunately I'm not able to charge and use the camera at the same time, so that's why I'm using my phone. I really hope that the quality is good. I'm so sorry if it's not. I think it should be fine. I mean, the amount of money that I pay for this freaking iPhone better damn well be okay. Anyway, I'm just going to stop talking now. Okay, so this video is something that I've been wanting to do for a while and I'm finally getting around to doing it now. And it's going to be like a very easy makeup tutorial, definitely geared towards like beginners. I'm gonna basically be talking about the basics to makeup and doing like a very easy kind of beginner's makeup tutorial as well. So let's get started. So the first thing that I like to do, this is a very basic step, but I like to get my hair out of my face because I don't want foundation to get on it or whatever. So I'm just gonna throw it up into like a bun. It doesn't have to be, you know, nice or whatever, but just so it's out of your face and then I can just come back and then do it after. Let's get started. My hair is in a bun. It is what it is. So the first thing that you want to make sure of when you are doing your makeup is you want to start out with a clean canvas. You want to make sure that your skin is nice and clean and also moisturized. I think a lot of people kind of think that moisturizing your face isn't that important, but it is. Like, trust me, it is. Moisturizing your face is a very key step to having good skincare, and having good skincare is definitely important when applying makeup. I'm gonna be moisturizing my face with my favorite moisturizer. This is the Cetaphil or Cetaphil, I don't really know how you say it, moisturizing cream. I'm almost out of it, but I'm just going to take that and just apply it. See, I personally have dry skin, so like I can't even go a day without moisturizing. Also, using a moisturizer is definitely important for anti-aging because that is going to happen eventually. So now that the moisturizer is on, I personally like to let it kind of settle into my skin a little bit before I use any other products. But the next step is going to be using a primer. And the primer that I'm going to be using today is the
I can't talk. The Pore, oh my god, I'm struggling right now.
It is the Pore Blem primer from Touch in Soul. I got this in a BoxyCharm box, I think like a few months ago or something. You kind of want to think of primer as, you know, when you go to paint a wall, you always use primer first. And that's kind of the exact same thing. Before you apply makeup, you always use primer first. That's might be kind of a strange analogy, but maybe not, I don't know. But yeah, so my moisturizer is kind of setting into my skin now, and I'm just going to use some of this primer. I'm just gonna squeeze it right into my hand and apply it onto my face. More so like my T-zone area, just because those are the spots that I feel need it the most. There's so many different kinds of primers that you can use. It all kind of depends on your skin and what you like your makeup to look like. This one's definitely kind of more silicone-y kind of texture, and it's really good for smoothing your skin. And then what I personally like to do, this is not a very necessary step in my opinion, but this is just what I like to do. I like to set my primer with like some sort of setting spray. I'm just using the NYX Matte Finish Spray. I just feel like it helps kind of set it in a little bit more. Kind of air dry it a little bit. Okay, so now that I put my primer on, I put some spray on there to let that sink in a little bit. I'm going to gear up for using some foundation. Today I'm gonna be using the Wet n Wild foundation in the shade Soft Beige. You can use whatever foundation that you guys prefer. I'm going to be using a combination of a brush and also a beauty sponge. This is just my favorite way to do it. I definitely recommend using some sort of beauty sponge though, a damp beauty sponge at that, because I personally think that using a brush kind of leaves a lot of like brush and like streaky marks. In my opinion, it's just not the best way to apply it, but you apply it however you like. I like to use a brush first just to kind of get the product on there, and then I like to blend it out with a beauty sponge. So that's just my favorite way to do it. So I'm gonna go ahead and use my foundation now. My primer definitely feels set at this point. So like I said, I'm gonna go in with the Wet n Wild foundation in Soft Beige. I usually like to give this a little bit of a shake because this foundation is very liquidy. So I like to just kind of, it has this little applicator on there. So I'm just going to like kind of apply it on my areas here. And then you definitely want to make sure that you always drag your foundation down to your neck, because you definitely want to make sure that the foundation is going to blend nicely with your neck. That's a huge step that a lot of people kind of always tend to forget to do. When going to pick out the correct foundation shade, a lot of people always think to match it to your hand, and that's definitely not true, because your hand is not always the same skin tone as your face. So I recommend doing it down to your neck. You want to make sure that the foundation shade matches your neck. Like I said, you want to make it look blended, and that to me is just the best way to do it. So that's just my tip right there. But all right, so now that my foundation's on, I'm just going to take my brush, and I just kind of like to buff it in to my skin with the brush, and then I like to blend it all out with the blender. As you can see, I don't know if you guys actually can tell, but my face is looking really kind of streaky right now because of like the brush marks. So I'm going to take my damp beauty sponge and just blend it out. And you always want to make sure that you're blending your foundation inwards out. So I'm going to start in here, blend it out. And then you just kind of, you know, just keep blending. And then don't forget to blend out your foundation on your neck as well. Now I'm going to go ahead and use some concealer. And the concealer that I'm using today is the Clinique Beyond Perfecting. This is a foundation and concealer, but I like to use it more as a concealer because, I don't know, it's just what I do. If you want to just do like a light concealing, you can literally just kind of do like 3 or 4 dots underneath the eye, just to conceal like your, you know, if you have any like dark circles underneath your eyes or whatever. But the way that I like to do it is I like to kind of highlight my face as I'm concealing. So I'm going to kind of create like a triangle shape underneath my eye. And then if you want to go an extra step in highlighting your face, you can just kind of add a little bit on your forehead, and then also down your chin, and then just down the bridge of your nose. This is a really good way of highlighting your face. Just kind of makes you look a bit more evened out. So once you have the concealer on there, you just, again, use your damp beauty sponge, blend inwards out. And then what I like to do too is I kind of like to take whatever's like on my sponge and just kind of put it over my eyes to get ready for my eyeshadow. As you're blending, I kind of forgot to mention this before, as you're using a beauty sponge to blend, you want to just like tap. Like you want to tap lightly. Do not want to rub. Avoid rubbing at all costs because that's not going to help. It's going to literally take off the product as you're blending it in. And you obviously want to avoid that. Again, I like to put a little bit of that product on my eyelid to get that ready for eyeshadow. Because it's also kind of an important step to prime your eyelids as well. And I think that using concealer is just as well as any eyeshadow primer. So I like to kind of add some of that product onto my eyelids. But now it is time for powder. I like to use a few different kind of powders. So I'm going to use the NYX Mineral Set It and Don't Fret It. This is I just discovered this like this month, and this is an amazing powder. It just locks everything in place, like it genuinely does. And the way that I like to apply powder is I like to take the bottom of my sponge and I like to just dip it into the powder like so, and then I go right underneath the eyes with it. Again, doing the tapping motion, just add a little bit of that powder right where your under eyes are, because that's going to help prevent any creasing. That's just always my go-to spot to start with. And then again, you want to start from the inwards out. Then I like to take a brush to set the rest of my face. I like to take just a flat top powder brush like this and dip into there. Always tap off the excess because as you can see, there's a lot of excess here. You know, you want to try avoid wasting as much product as you can. You're using that tapping motion and you're just kind of putting powder everywhere that you put, you know, foundation and concealer. Then what I like to do, I also like to add a little bit of a pressed powder onto my face as well. And this is just the Maybelline Fit Me powder in the color 220. And I'm just going to apply this just to make my skin look a little bit more like evened out. But this step you can probably skip. I just like to do this. So pretty much our whole skin, like our foundation, powder, concealer, and powder is all set, which is great. So the next thing that I like to do is I like to apply my bronzer, blush, and highlighter. You want to use a bronzer shade that's maybe like maybe 1 or 2 shades darker than your skin tone or the shade that you used for your foundation. So I'm going to be using my NYX bronzer in the shade Light. So I'm going to take just like an angled brush like this, and I'm going to just kind of dip into the bronzer here. So you're going to take your bronzer and you're going to apply it kind of right where like, almost like your side, I guess, like for lack of a better term, like your sideburn area is. And you want to blend it kind of like back and forth, like in circular motions, but you don't want to go past right here, like right where the end of your eyebrow is down. So you want to kind of blend it up from here to like right here. So I'm just going to do it in kind of like circular motions like this. And then I also kind of like to kind of blend it up to where my temple is as well. And you just want to go right on the other side as well. All right, so we are just about all bronzed up. So now it's time to apply blush. I'm gonna be using my Milani Berry Amore Baked Blush. And I'm just gonna use the same brush that I used to apply bronzer. Dip very lightly into the blush, and then again, tap off the excess. I'm just going to apply the blush right on top of the bronzer and kind of in the same motions, like in circular motions, because you kind of want to blend that into the bronzer as well. You know, you're kind of just doing it in very, very light strokes. So now you look blushed and you look bronzed, and now it's time for highlighter. So this highlighter is my absolute favorite go-to drugstore highlighter. It is the Wet n Wild Blossom Glow highlighter. And the way that I like to apply my highlighter is with a fan brush like this. And you're gonna apply the highlighter, as you can kind of see, you're gonna have a natural glow like right here. And you just kind of wanna ever so lightly apply some of that highlighter on there. So with highlighter, you're pretty much just enhancing that natural glow to your face. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply it. Again, you can kind of see that natural glow right on my cheekbone. And I'm just going to kind of follow that. You can also kind of like, you know, put some right on the tip of your Cupid's bow right there, like maybe on your nose if you want. But my personal favorite place to put highlighter other than your cheekbones is right in the inner corners of your eyes, like right where your tear duct area is. So I'm just gonna take like my middle finger, just kind of apply some, and then just put some right in that area. So it just makes your eyes pop and it makes your whole face pop. So I'm going to go ahead and do my eyebrows next. Now there's a few different products that you can use for your eyebrows. You can use a brow pencil, you can use a brow powder, or you could use like a pomade, like a dip brow pomade. For beginners, I definitely recommend using like a brow pencil. I'm going to be using the NYX Micro Brow Pencil, and this is in the shade Ash Brown. On the other end of this brow pencil comes with like a little spoolie. What you do is you kind of want to just brush the natural hairs of your eyebrows right into place, shape them out the way that you want them to. And I'm just kind of gonna go I'm pretty much going to shape out my eyebrow with the brow pencil. So I'm just gonna kind of go right to where my eyebrow starts, like right here. And I'm going to ever so lightly follow the natural shape of my eyebrows. And then I like to start like right about here on the top of my eyebrow. And the reason why I'm doing this, the reason why I'm not starting at the very tip, at the very start of my eyebrow, is because you want your eyebrows to look as natural as you can. And when you start at the very beginning of your eyebrows, it does tend to look a little bit harsh. So as you can see, I'm just kind of, again, following the natural shape of my eyebrows, kind of outlining them like this. So then you're just gonna kind of go ahead and fill them in. And what I like to do is I like to take the very tip of my applicator, and I'm just going to do very, very light strokes in the very beginning of my eyebrow, like the first third of my eyebrow. I'm gonna be doing very, very light strokes. And then from that point on, I'm just literally going to be filling in my eyebrow like so. And then what I like to do is I like to take the spoolie again and just kind of blend everything together. Okay, so the next step is eyeshadow. So the eyeshadow palette that I'm going to be using is my Tartelette in Bloom palette. With eyeshadow, you kind of want to use a few different brushes. Maybe like the 3 most important brushes that I think you could use are ones that are like this, whereas this one is definitely fluffy and does a great job of blending. And this one here does a great job of like, it's definitely more compact and definitely is really, really great for the lid, for your eyelid. And then this one kind of looks identical to the first one, but it's not as fluffy, and it definitely gives you a little bit more structure, I guess. But I'm gonna go in with this shade here. It's called Flower Girl. It's a very, very neutral shade. And I'm just going to just apply that kind of all over like the crease of my eye, pretty much all over my eye in general. Just going to create like a very good base for everything. Now I'm going to be using this Smarty Pants color, and I'm just going to apply this onto my crease area. And the way that you want to, you know, apply these eyeshadows and stuff is you want to just go in with very, very light strokes, like circular motions. You want to apply the shade, but you also want to be blending it out at the same time. So then I'm just going to go in with this Rebel shade, and I'm going to use the other brush that I showed you, the one that kind of looks identical to the first one, but it's a little bit not as fluffy, I guess. I'm going to go into the shade Rebel. Again, you want to tap off the excess every single time you use like eyeshadow, bronzer, blush, whatever. You want to tap off that excess. I'm just going to focus this shade onto the outer corner of my eyes. And I'm just kind of blending this again in like circular kind of motions, like window wiper motions, I guess you could say. And then you can just kind of blend, again, very lightly in the crease area. All right, so now I'm going to be doing the lid part, and I'm going to be taking the shade Funny Girl with my compact brush, and I'm just going to be putting this kind of all over the lid. Okay. Like, just like that. The eyes look simple, but definitely dimensional at the same time. So, I'm pretty much done with my eyeshadow. So I'm gonna go ahead and just take some mascara. And the mascara that I have here is just, I don't even know, some mascara that I got in a beauty box. Grande Mascara, whatever this is called. And I would definitely recommend curling your eyelashes first, but I don't have an eyelash curler with me right now. So we're gonna skip that step. But you just wanna, you know, take the mascara. When you go to apply the mascara, you want to, I actually think it's a good step to kind of blink into the wand. Like, you just kind of take it and then blink. put it up to your lashes, and then blink. That is, I think, the best way to do it. And then you can even kind of like take it and then kind of shake it up. You can definitely already tell a huge difference. And then if you want to add some on the bottom lashes, I just very, very lightly just kind of take the very ends of my bottom lashes and apply them there. Okay, so mascara is on, and finally the last step is lips. So I'm going to take a lip liner like this, and I'm just going to apply the lip liner, kind of, you just literally drawing the outline of your lips, and if you want, you can kind of overdraw a little bit. And then as you're applying the lip liner, you kind of want to fill in at the same time. And then do that to the top. And then you're just going to go ahead and apply lipstick. And I'm just using the Kat Von D liquid lipstick in Noble. And that is pretty much it for my beginners makeup tutorial, whatever you want to call it. I hope that this was helpful in any way. It's kind of hard explaining everything in detailed steps. It was definitely kind of a long process, so hopefully that this was beneficial to anybody, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you guys next week with a new video. Bye.